which can help if you do go later into Fearless Draft. I mean, if you've used up the Nautilus and the Leona, you can go towards something like the Ornn with the Senna too. So track that later into the draft if it's left unbanned. I was wondering if the Ziggs would get through. Nope, that's going to get banned away as well. So that means that a lot of, again, the magic damage is being stripped from a lot of different roles.
Yuekai's going to have to go Yone at this rate because Corki, up and available, didn't get banned away. Obviously, Yuekai can't go for that himself. So NIP don't have to first pick the Corki, but can very comfortably grab that for themselves later on to go for a different priority pick. Maybe it's Photic's turn to take the Ashe.
Okay, but that's not something that Ultra Prime could take themselves. So this is trying to keep cards close to their chest. They could have picked the Ashe on 2-3 and picked up something as a takeaway from Ultra Prime in that first pick. I know if he's starting off the draft very, very conservatively. Yuekai has played the Lucian mid if he wants to play a different kind of AD mid laner in regards to that. Hacker, of course, had one of arguably the play of summer so far, and the Herald Escape was on that Karthus as well for that game and that win versus Weibo. You expect either the Yone or the Lucian to come through alongside this now.
I mean, he's played Karthus 3 times this split. He's won all 3 of those games. It's comfortably been his most potent pick for the side of Ultra Prime. And I mean, look, they need this game. Bring out all of the power. Bring out the picks that you're most comfortable on, that you've done the best on. Doggo has got a few games on that Ezreal as well. Maybe not quite as successful as the Karthus, but definitely something he's comfortable on.
Could also be flexed towards the mid lane. We've seen a couple of players play this in that role. I think it's largely been a thing in the LEC rather than any other region, but still something to keep our eyes on. Flex picks, AD mid lane, typically very, very important when you have that AP jungler. NIP, they chose to keep their cards close to their chest, not pick up something more valuable as a takeaway from Ultra Prime. The Ashe already was unavailable to Ultra Prime because they played that in Game 1, and it's our last day of Fearless. It's the last day that we have to consider that. They do look at that Corki, though. Again, another pick which Ultra Prime couldn't play themselves, so again, they're not really denying anything, and they're playing things just towards the power picks. Yeah.
Just on the topic of the Ezreal mid, it has been played 6 times mid in both LEC and LCS, or as in 6 times in total. So far, it is 1-5. Not a pick that has succeeded dramatically. Quid made it look good, though, in his first game of it. But enough. I digress. As the Yone looking to be hovered and probably will be locked in. This has been an answer to the Corki we've seen time and time again in the LPL.
Yeah. And the thing is, within the LPL, it's not a hard and fast counter. It's just something that you can play the Yone into, which is quite important. Because the Yone doesn't have to win the matchup. It's just something that, yes, you can win it, but you also can just survive and get to... Mazel's been talking about it as the 25 minutes and beyond instant win button, where you just get one big team fight late into the game, especially when you've got a Karthus over the top of it. The game can just end if you can survive to that point.
You certainly can. If you get that one big fate sealed onto multiple players, especially when you've got the True Shot Barrage on top of that. You've got the Requiem for Aftermath as well. That's a hell of a combo from Ultra Prime. They just need a bit of front line to set it up. Kalista banned away from Photic, I guess, or maybe banned away from Zhuo. Maybe it was a Kalista support angle alongside the Ashe.
We're actually nerfing the ult cooldown for Kalista. I think partly because it was played so much in support, but that's coming later. So either way, banning away stuff which can be really, really nasty towards bots. So you can also ban away Varus maybe if you're afraid of double range bot sides.
Even
if you ban away them,
Ashe is something we saw a lot of previously.
And but then that becomes a problem, because if you can't ban all of them, what happens if you want to lock something like Braum on 4 and then just avoid as many of those lanes as you can? So they do ban out that Varus, which does leave open something like that Draven, which you're completely right to bring up. But what does this mean for Niket? Niket won't get his Leona, doesn't have the Nautilus, doesn't have the Rel, might have to go towards something like that Braum, but NIP could just ban out that too. They ban out the TF, so it does leave some options for Niket, but it's not the easiest situation for him.
I think we blind slam Cassante top and then counter pick for Niket. If they go ranged, blitzcrank, baby, it's time for the hook, champs. We'll see. We'll see what Ultra Prime are going to opt to go for. Honestly, with how bot lane is shaking out, though, I wouldn't be too surprised to see a blind top lane here with the Cassante.
But then the problem is, and I think this is completely fair because it's the Cassante, and Cassante is happy playing into almost everything. QingTian is not good when he's given a losing matchup. Against IG, we saw YSKM take a huge advantage over him on the Fiora in Game 2 in that series as well. It does leave Shanji to get a good winning matchup, even if it isn't something as flashy as the Fiora. If he does lock in something like that Renekton alongside it, it could be really dangerous for QingTian if he starts falling behind the game. We know what he's like when he starts to get snowballed on.
Oh, Vayne top. Surely not. That's not going to be a fun one for QingTian. It's something Shanji would certainly happily play. We know Shanji is very comfortable slamming a carry in that top side, and in fact, the Kennen was banned in the previous game away from Shanji. Surely not Skada. You can't. Come on, Shanji.
No,
you can't hover all of the carries and then lock Skada.
So it's QingTian, a player that falls behind super hard. You can counter pick him. He picks this Skada. We just have the handshake top matchup. That's sad. Well, thing is, for NIP, now you have very similar competition to what Ultra Prime had in the last game. In fact, it's exactly the same, except just the Braum instead of the Rel from that last time. Thing is, compared to the competition against it last time, Ultra Prime have that Yone, which has to dive into a Braum. They have the Cassante, which has to dive into the Braum as well. The Rakan, it is that extra engage angle, which can help them get onto those carries. But I'm looking at Zhuo on the Braum and Shanji on the Skada, even though it is almost exactly the same composition, which Ultra Prime lost with last game to NIP. I think that Ultra Prime's composition is playing more into what this composition demands.
Niket will have his first game on this Rakan as well. So again, rookie player, we get to see a little bit more from him and a little bit of a different engage support. You do have to play a different way to most of them, so we'll see how well he does to balance on that knife's edge. But also a good support for dodging away from arrows. Ezreal Rakan, good luck hitting an enchanted crystal arrow in the bot side.
So, arrows once again on the table. So important to see if they hit. Ultra Prime, if they lose this game, they lose any chance of qualifying to Group A, the upper group in the next stage of the LPL. This is so important for them. NIP, they are just playing for spoilers and for pride, but they are very, very good at League of Legends, so they might just beat them without those stakes buoying them.
And I feel like, you know, Rookie's not one of these players that's just going to lose a game because he doesn't need to win it. He's a player that wins these. NIP looking real good in game number 1 of the series. No sympathy for Ultra Prime right here. They are here to win. They are here to look as good as they can as they leave the group and move towards the upper half of the LPL. Ultra Prime, last chance here. If they lose this game, they go to the bottom group. But if they win, they keep those hopes alive. Okay, tense here for Ultra Prime. They've had such a good group stage compared to expectations, compared to what people thought was possible. Especially Niket coming in as a rookie. Oh, Doggo, you cannot be stood there. Goes for the E, might have to flash as well. Nice cleanse comes out from him. They're going to try and chase for more. There we go. Both summoners out from Doggo at level 1. And now Ultra Prime want to answer, but you're up against a Braum. It's so hard to fight against Braum level 1. Niket forced away. That is 3 summoners used on the side of Ultra Prime.
And you know, Ultra Prime, they have done Braum level 1s before. It's one of the ways that they ended up beating Weibo in their series versus them. So for them to fall prey to it, and for Doggo to lose both his summoners and start E level 1, it raises concerns that we've had about this AD carry for Ultra Prime on this team at points. Doggo has had some great games, but he's had games like this too, where he's been exploited. He doesn't have summoners. If he gets hit by a Q, he will just die. He is paying an amount of respect for it. Is it enough?
Okay,
yes.
Photic control. They want to get the XP. They don't want to zone themselves away as well. I feel like there was a huge win available to them there. He's gone E, so it's not like he can even fight in the level 1. Did miss XP from 2 minions there, though. And realistically, I mean, it's going to be so difficult to ever get any CS.
He started E. He can't even hit the minions. Like, what can he do here? They could walk up now, Photic and Draw, knowing that even though the Ezreal has the Conqueror strong level 1, level 2 rune, what do you do with this? Photic and Draw taking a level 1 mistake.
I believe in the industry they refer to this as turbo doomed for Doggo and Niket. I mean, I feel like this split, honestly, we have seen so many level 1s that massively impact. Oh, Hacker kind of got away with that. I don't think he was actually spotted, bizarrely. Although,
well,
you know
okay,
he's top
spot on the
caster
board
up, so
anyway.
we know where he's going to be. But yeah, I mean, so many games I feel like have been determined by what happened at level 1 and the shenanigans that occurred. And I feel like this game may well be among them.
I mean, Ultra Prime have been on both the winning and losing end of that. They won versus Weibo when they had that Brawl level 1. They lost versus Anyone's Legend in the Game 3 of that series they had versus them after that really heartbreaking Game 2.
Oh,
and it was similar to this. They got locked under turret with such a huge disadvantage, and Doggo just kept dying on cooldown.
Oh, God.
Now it might just be the same thing again. Aki looking for a dive. Level 4 to level 1!
Okay, TP has to come out from QingTian just to bail his bot lane out. Like you say, still level 1 on both bot laners here, and QingTian is going to be soaking half of the XP from these minions as well as the dive just continues. I'm not sure QingTian can actually survive this one either. Doggo, can he finally hit level 2? He's still level 1. As finally, there we go, the level up comes on in. I don't know if that really makes any difference, but at least he's finally level 2. It's a small win. Dive's going to come through from NIP. They're going behind the tower as the range damage just flies on in. QingTian 1 HP to work with as the minions go down. Flash forced out from Aki. Nice play from Niket to get something.
Oh, and the level 1 from Doggo almost, well, it has still thrown this game well and truly under the bus. QingTian and Niket, they end up improvising, they end up saving their lives, but it's not saving the game so far. Hacker managed to clean up some minions from the top side, which means that he gets something there, but QingTian loses his teleport, Niket loses his flash, Niket's lost a load of XP because of the mistake from Doggo at level 1 as well. And NIP, they don't manage to get the dive. It's still a huge advantage for them all the same, though.
I mean, you can see 300 gold up for Photic. He's on double the CS of Doggo at this point. But on top of that, QingTian is so far behind the top side, half the CS of Shanji. And he's also 2 levels down as he re-enters the top lane. He's close to level 4, so at least we'll be able to get that for himself. But, I mean, it's not getting any easier on either side of the board.
Feels like another one of those games where you just have to call out Ultra Prime. If only they hadn't thrown at the Nexus versus Anyone's Legend. Because you just have to have those like massive war flashbacks of that. Because they should have won that game. They ended up executing turrets in a way that they shouldn't have done. That would have secured them into the upper group already. They end up losing that game. They end up losing everything else since that point as well. And it has just gone from bad to worse. And it's another level 1 which has gone poorly for them. NIP, again, they have no stakes in this, but they're not a team which will just lose games for charity. Of course they won't do that. Everyone's still fighting for pride and for their best results. You don't get through NIP for free.
No.
Ultra Prime, they need to recover somehow.
Just take a look for a second at the CS numbers in every single lane. Rookie's 10 CS up just through the merits of his own laning as he goes forwards towards Yuekai. He wants another 2v1. Rookie fears nothing.
And he has absolutely every right to not fear anything. Doggo trying to trade a little bit back towards here, has himself the Conqueror stacking
down, right?
up, but
Photic
is...
Okay, they can't.
I believe Photic's tanking minions. I think that's the one thing which is stopping him.
Steps up again. Doggo going to be zoned away at this point. The second that E is on cooldown, Ash will just chase you down. Tier 2 boots already finished off. As well as having that approach velocity, it's so difficult to leave a trade after the fact against an Ash. Aki will be able to grab grubs as well.
Yeah. One of the reasons why Zyra takes grubs so easily is because when you kill units with Zyra, you end up getting some seed cooldowns back and all the mini things, and of course having 3 of the big ones as well gives you a lot of that W cooldowns to just keep getting plants through. Means that you just clear them so easily. And Ultra Prime, what that means is that Zyra doesn't have to waste that much time doing this, takes it very quickly compared to many other junglers, gets straight back out onto the map, and much like Hacker on the Zyra in the last game, ready to impact things again.
Certainly will be. And importantly, because of both the mid and bot prio, it's really difficult for Hacker to have just started the Drake in the meantime. Spotted out by the Hawkshot as Zhuo stepping over to try and make sure this isn't started. Hacker will begin the Drake anyway. Aki is making a beeline over here. Yuekai trying to push out mid, but forced away by Aki. I think this might just be Drake for Hacker. I think Aki is just going to return. I don't know. He's toying with the idea. He does want to contest this.
If Zhuo can make his way up here, they can fight. That Braum's still so strong. Rookie on one side, and now Zhuo is here. Yeah, fight's on.
Oh,
Might be
level 6
forcing
for
a flash out
Photic.
of Hacker.
Level 6 for Photic. There we go. Flash comes out. Slows across the team as well as Doggo. Did have the concussive blows, but they want Hacker. They want to bring this down. Requiem available, but no low health bars to work with.
Doggo blows his cleanse, Hacker blows his flash, and the kill comes through. So while the Dragon is secured for Ultra Prime, NIP have a really powerful couple of minutes to play around because Hacker doesn't have that flash. He's going to be a sitting target. With that, the Darth is still dead. That might also be blue buff going over, and indeed it is. So on the grand scheme of things, it's a Dragon for a whole host of other advantages taken by NIP.
This is tough. This is really tough for Ultra Prime. They are falling so far behind. It's 2,000 gold in the lead for NIP at just 8 minutes on the clock. Hacker loses the blue buff, which as a Karthus, really not ideal. Obviously, you do still get a lot of mana sustain from the jungle anyway, but still, you would love to be able to just wang that Eon for the entire clear. Alas, may not be the case. Let's take another look.
All right.
Shenanigans. Look at Photic leveling 6 as he moves into the play.
Yeah, that's really fortunate timing for NIP, and this is one of the issues with the changes to the bottom side of the map walls. You don't get out of River from red side very easily because of that wall on the other side, and we come back into live and not much happens. So all we see really is the start of that play. Hacker goes down, NIP take full control over that bot side of the map once again.
We come back to live, and Corki and Yone are trading. Who could have seen this coming?
Wow.
This is truly a once-in-a-lifetime game. Good stuff, though, from NIP. And, I mean, Ultra Prime. I'm trying to look at this comp and figure out, like, how do they come back from a deficit? I feel like champions like Ezreal, when they are behind, just don't really exist at all. Kind of similar for Karthus, honestly, until much later in the game. Arrow sent across the map by Photic, and is just... I mean, he's doing his best Doggo impression.
Wow! Really had to do that to him, huh? First arrow of the game, second arrow of the game, not as impactful as the first. First forced that flash out of the Karthus. Still, all the same, Photic and Zhuo still winning this bot lane laning phase very, very heavily in a way that Ultra Prime couldn't manage to do so in the game just beforehand. It was the Ezreal getting a leg up over the Ashe. I think this is something that we've seen a lot in the LPL, though, is that if you make minute laning phase mistakes, particularly in bot lane, they can snowball through to entire game-changing patterns. We've seen it in this game, particularly with that level 1, with the E level up. That's pretty egregious, right? That's an extreme example of it. But in the LPL, we're pretty good on the whole at running away with advantages like this.
You often see it in mid lane with a missed summoner spell, a flash that's on cooldown on something like a Hui, and you'll see the jungler or the support just consistently move back into that lane and explode it into a huge advantage. I think Rookie, one of the players that most capable of punishing those kinds of small mistakes. Yuekai, again, consistently trying to find these trades, but Rookie is just building this lead more and more in the mid lane. It feels... Rookie's laning this split, man, has been so good. I feel like every single game I watch, he's just so far ahead in the laning phase.
LPL's kind of played less towards mid lane laning phase as a whole too. If you think about the great mid laners that we have right now in terms of Knight, last year it was Scout as well, Yugao's on the conversation too. They're not laning specialists, or rather they don't win games purely through lane. What they tend to do is use lane as a means to an end to get the big play coming through. I mean, okay, Draw, thumbs up. But I think that's Rookie is the one. To this, where he will genuinely just rock you so hard in lane that you can't play, which is not a commonality. It's not a common thing within LPL right now.
No, it's not. I feel like Do and B changed the game, you know? Do and B made it so people realize mid-prio can be just as important as winning lane. And ever since that tournament with bloody Malphite mid and Nautilus, mid lane has been a different game entirely, and teams can play without just a dominant laner in the mid lane. But as you say, Rookie, still very much that guy. But we never get to see it internationally, and it's killing me, man. It is killing me how long it has been since Rookie has made it to an international stage. I want to see him play against Chovy.
But the problem is now, this is the heartbreak. We have too many good teams in LPL. We do, and the competition is really harsh. Because for me, you know, we're getting towards the end of group stage. This is probably going to be a dive. We'll maybe talk about this afterwards. That's a dead Niket.
Thorns comes out. Niket is still alive, and the Requiem comes out to answer. It's not really much damage. Just Yuekai sort of goes wide on the ultimate. Can't finish off Photic, but does get a flash out. It's not quite a kill, but it's an answer from Ultra Prime.
So, Niket ends up living once again. Some good kind of Houdini escape artist shenanigans coming out from Ultra Prime. They escape without any kills, and that's going to be important. It stops the NIP from just blasting through the top side of the map. Photic and Zhuo, they can't stick around here. Doggo gets himself a free lane for a blessed minute or two after this early game. But, you know, going back to that previous conversation, talk about some of these great players on the side of NIP. The problem is that we have a lot of teams which are currently lining up and battling for what we assume to be 4th-ish place. Top 3 teams in LPL right now for me are, I think Top Esports looks probably like the best team in the league. We will see if that continues. Then I think JDG and BLG, of course, is kind of around that top 3. Can't really discredit BLG. Even though they lost that last series, they're just still around there. That 4th spot, though, for me, is really Wild West. We have Anyone's Legend from this group, which, of course, is going to qualify above NIP. That's already a problem. We have NIP, I think, in that conversation. I think FPX are in that conversation. Maybe a couple of others, too. It is harsh competition there. NIP, they want to stamp their foot with series like this and show that they are well and truly in the conversation.
Oh, Rookie dodges away from the knockup, and it's Niket in trouble as Zhuo flashes to set it up. Gorgeous stuff from the NIP mid support duo. Hacker forced to flash once again. It only just came back off a cooldown, and Shanji's hunting for Doggo. Impale flashed away from NIP, just not letting the pressure up.
If there is one skill set which Rookie has above all else, it's just how does he find these random fog of war position plays? Like, he's done this on the Corki before. He just turns out of the weirdest bush from the weirdest angle and causes you to lose a fight, just like he did there. 1.6k up at 14 minutes individually. Absolute insane performance from him on this. And now, once again, we're seeing the master of mystery, the fog of war player himself, putting Ultra Prime into the dirt, and this is exactly what they didn't want. They lose this game. They don't get a chance to fight towards that upper group.
They certainly don't. Shanji, perhaps an all-out angle here as QingTian pulls him underneath the tower. Shanji going to be forced to flash. Nice little angle from QingTian. Finds a window and gets his flash.
That's something, at least. While all of this has happened, QingTian, he gave up his early laning phase to make sure that Doggo and Niket didn't die under that tower because of Doggo's level 1 mistake. Now he is down 1.3k himself, just like Rookie was a little earlier. Rookie's even accelerate that now up to 2,000. But top lane lost its lane because of the bot lane mistake at level 1 from Doggo. And Ultra Prime, they're falling apart across the map now. Such a difficult position where they just don't have any gold to fight with.
It's really tough. Unless something can happen for them to find an advantage later. I mean, they're 5k down. It's only 15 minutes. Arrow on the top side, and Rookie is here to try and capitalize. QingTian is on Cassante, but might just be dived anyway. There's no minion wave is the one big problem, but Photic and Zhuo, you don't get to run away from Ashen Braum. There is no escape. Zhuo there to make sure that he was definitely not going to get away as Photic finds the kill, and that'll be a tower in the top side and a Herald on top. Not to mention 6 scrubs that they got earlier.
Stop! They're already dead! They're already dead! There's so much going up to the side of Ninjas in Pyjamas. That is such a killer blow towards the top side. Photic, you know, I've had my issues with him on some of the more traditional AD carries, but when he has something more utility to play around, like the Ash Arrow, like the Jin W or whatever, he's looked like a completely different beast. I think Photic, yes, you can level some criticism from that first round robin. He has really stepped up and put a lot of those worries to rest as it stands.
Does feel a little bit like Ultra Prime are sort of just getting diffed in this one, doesn't it? And I know a lot of that stems from the level 1, but I mean, credit to NIP for brute forcing off the back of that level 1, but even still, this feels a little hard to watch for me, honestly, because I really like this Ultra Prime team. I don't want to see them suffer, but suffering is definitely the right word for how this game is going, as it's 16 minutes in. The Herald's just going to be slammed to finish off a tier 2 in the mid lane. In the meantime, Rookie is 1v1ing QingTian, and there's going to be a TP up top from Shanji as well to try and finish the job there. In the meantime, Yuekai does manage to cancel the TP. a small win for Ultra Prime in that they stopped a summoner spell being used.
Ah, yes, glorious victory. They stopped that from happening. Don't never mind the fact that they might die on topside and still lose that inner turret anyway. There is silver linings. Feel quite tarnished now at this point.
Do you know, we're 17 minutes in and it's still only 3 kills. This game might end looking like an actual football score rather than a League of Legends score. Like,
so keep your eyes out for what? So what? Keep your eyes out for 7-1.
Look, I'm just saying there's a chance. I'm just saying there's a chance. Oh dear. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, Ultra Prime this game, if we're talking about football, they're looking about as likely to win this one as England are with the Euros.
Oh, don't start. Don't you start, look, buddy. So I live in Berlin. Of course, the Euros are happening around Germany, and I get to see a lot of football fans. One of the strangest things there is, because when I tend to watch through stream games, I get spoiled for the goals because everyone watching on TV in the street gets it about 10 seconds before. So I get advanced warning about when anything happens in those.
Well, luckily for you, no spoilers in the England games because there's no bloody goals. Yeah, I was chatting to my granddad about the England squad, how he reckoned we were going to do when it came to the later stages. And do you know, when you're on Twitter all the time, you see people talking about the actual quality of the games and stuff. You kind of forget that, like, people that really love football and that watch football all the time, they're much more interested in belief, you know. They've got that true faith in the team, and Granddad's like, yeah, they showed what they needed to and nothing more. They're going to bring it out in the main stage. That's what he reckons.
We need more of that in League. You need to trust your teams. Even I have to say it's a big thing you got to trust. Even when you are against the wall, even when stuff like this happens, you need to find some belief. They do get out without losing any kills. Just there, Shanji flashes away.
Rookie diving forwards. I mean, Ultra Prime, they're just getting whittled away. A rocket lands. A chair nearly finishes the job. Zhuo taking me back to Hell in a Cell back in 1995 or whatever it was, throwing chairs around. That's going to be an inhib taken, and they're just going to keep on pushing, aren't they? They might just end the game. It's only 19 minutes on the clock, and NIP are trying to end the game. Doggo desperately getting onto the fountain as Niket looks for a knock-up. There's a stun against the wall. Zhuo so tanky with that unbreakable. Moves over to the team, and the impale is massive. That's 2 as NIP continue to snowball. It's 19.5 minutes on the clock. NIP don't even need a win today, but they don't care. Yuekai goes in, Yuekai goes out. Rocket dodge, but Ultra Prime will keep themselves alive.
Yeah, by God, they're broken in half. They've fallen through the commentator's table, but they're still just about breathing. The 10 count hasn't quite come through for Ultra Prime, and you know, we're talking about maybe needing a little bit more belief, and even against the better analytical judgment of points for some of these teams, it's getting quite hard to do that for Ultra Prime, because these kind of fights, it feels like a victory lap for NIP. You know, Niket, he's trying to do these defensive Ws that Rakan can do to pin someone into the front line after they've dived forward. But where's the damage? They don't have the ability to stick onto a target, and diving through into this team is absolute hell when you are this far behind in the game. Credit to NIP. They have ruthlessly snowballed this game. This has not been a contest.
It feels like watching solo queue. And you have to start asking hard questions for Ultra Prime, and especially for Ultra Prime fans. Like, one of the questions I'd have to ask is this a library? Because I can't hear anything. I mean, to be fair, it's not very fair anyway, because the Gyos have not typically been that strong for Ultra Prime in the first place. Tough one here. 5-0. 5-0. Not a single thing has been picked up by Ultra Prime. Just that one Drake keeping them away from a perfect game. Niket dives in, stunned up, taken out. QingTian dives in to donate a second one, as they didn't want to let Niket die alone. And he won't, because QingTian's going to go down as well.
Try as he might, he won't escape on that one. Ultra Prime, it has been a difficult day for them, as the Nexus looks surely within the sights of NIP. This will knock them out of contention for Group A.
No 7-1 today, because that's an 8th kill on the board for NIP. Doggo gets back onto the fountain. NIP, 21 minutes on the clock. They're trying to finish the job. Unfortunately for them, they killed a Karthus, who cleared the minion wave immediately. But Doggo, again, just sent back in onto the fountain. How many times has he been sent back to fountain? We're not even 22 minutes into the game. Another kill onto Niket, who just can't find a way in, and I'm not really surprised on Rakan against this much damage. Nexus Towers finally sieged, and the game might finally be over. I say finally, it's only 22 minutes, but for Ultra Prime, it's been 22 minutes of sheer agony. The level 1 was a disaster, and everything else that followed was pure pain and punishment out from NIP. Finally, 1 kill gets on the board for the side of Ultra Prime, but that is all they will find. The Nexus will fall, and Ultra Prime, their hopes of Group A, dashed before their eyes.
Only a kill and a dragon stood in their way of what could have been a perfect game. Ruthless from NIP, absolutely ruthless. Some smiles on the faces of QingTian as he
shakes QingTian's hand. What do you reckon he said there? Get bodied, kid, or something. Like, how can you be laughing at a time like this?
You're laughing. Yeah, it's like you're laughing when all of this happened. Gosh, man, well, how else do you deal with this? What a shellacking. Ultra Prime, they went from, not gonna lie, if you look back to that Nexus moment against anyone's Legend, it was Yuekai taking an extra tower turret shot or 2 on the Nexus. It was a couple of misplays around that which stopped them from walking away with a 2-0 that would have sealed them into that upper group of the next stage. They ended up getting 2-0'd by IG. They get 2-0'd here by NAP. Their fate was in their own hands. I still think that Ultra Prime will do absolutely fine within the battle between the lower teams in the LPL. I have